So we have animals in our family. We have children as well, but we do have animals. And this is one of our animals. And I was wondering if any of the young people are here today. I'm not sure if they've all gone out, if there's maybe a few primary schoolers here. But this particular cat is named after one of the famous pirates in that lovely movie series, Pirates of the Caribbean. So who's that famous pirate? What's his name? My young friends. Jack! Yes, Jack Sparrow. Hey, so this cat, can you see that cat? Can you see him clearly enough? See him fairly clearly? So that's Jack. So what's right about this picture and what's wrong about it? And if that really helps. But what's right about it, what's wrong about it? I mean, it's a good thing the cat's resting. But my young friends, where's the cat resting? Okay, well, this is young Malcolm talking. Okay. Yes, my young friend. Yes, sir. In the dog basket, absolutely. I mean, there are little paw prints on that thing. You know, those are, it's supposed to be for the dog. So the cat is Jack, and Jack Sparrow, I think, he's aptly named because there's this sort of deceptive nature about him every now and then. And the dog, when the dog gets rejected and climbs onto our bed for a place, because this is kind of in our bedroom, then the dog gives you this woeful look. Why are you not doing something about my home, about my place that's been given to me? Why are you not removing Jack Sparrow from my place of residence? And so Jack can reside, especially when Shirley was away recently on a modern course in Joburg. I took this then, and Jack took up residence in Jade, the dog's basket. And so Jade, the dog, can look at you for a whole morning while Jack just resides, takes over her place. So I was thinking about that, what would that do for Jade's confidence, the dog's confidence? How must the dog feel? Something was bought for me, and now the cat's taken it over. What does that do, for the cat? And I think life is a little like that sometimes. We're confident about life, confident with who we are, where we're going, what's happened. But sometimes we lose confidence. And sometimes a usurper, a deceitful. Children are welcome today, friends. Don't you worry about it. Children are welcome. There's a family service, so this is all good. But sometimes, somebody takes your place, or something happens in life, and you lose confidence about who you are, where you're going. Stuff happens, just like it happens to our dog Jade when Jake takes over the position. I wondered about the few that gathered that Easter morning, that first Easter morning, when the Sabbath was over. Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go to anoint Jesus' body. That Sabbath, so it would have started on the Friday and gone through onto to the Saturday and ended on the Saturday. Why was, in Hebrew, I think Rose is here. What's the Sabbath called in Hebrew? It's called the Shabbat. Hey? It's the seventh day. And so why is the Sabbath? Where does it get its day from? Why is it on the seventh day? Why is the Sabbath on the seventh day? It comes from creation story, doesn't it? It comes from the beginning on the sixth day. What does God make on the sixth day? He makes humankind on the sixth day, doesn't he? And so this is a new creation. This is God recreating. That's why on the seventh day he rests. We could say that in a sense Jesus rests on the seventh day too. He goes on the Sabbath. He goes into the tomb. He finishes his work on the sixth day. He finishes the work of the cross on the sixth day. It's God recreating humanity. It's the Genesis link. This is God reworking humankind. He's starting again through his son Jesus. And Jesus finished his work. So my little friends, the Easter egg. Why do we have Easter eggs, my young friends? Why do we have Easter eggs? Put it out there. What did we hear? Why do we have Easter eggs? My older friend, you can let me know. Come on. Why do we have? Yes, sir. New life. This man needs a PhD. New life. New life, absolutely. New life comes out of an egg, doesn't it? I mean, chocolate's good. But chocolate really just represents an egg, which is, a little mum hen sits on, and new life is born. So this is God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit creating new life out of dead things, coming alive. So, the finished work on the Friday, and then the Sabbath, and then Resurrection Sunday. Confidence. Today we're talking a little bit about confidence. I've told you about Jack, our cat, losing his confidence. And I'm wondering about Mary Magdalene. So again, my young friends, this word, mummification, help me. What does it mean? My primary school friends, there's some bright primary, I'm anticipating an answer. No whispering there, Dad. Sean. Mummification. Mummification. What was that? What about a high schooler? A high schooler, mummification. Some dads are helping out. So come on, okay, the rest, help me. Mummification. The process of? Sorry, of? There's that process of embalming, preserving a body that would last for a very long time. So when these women come down, I'm wondering about Mary. Who is this Mary Magdalene? Who is she? What do we know about her? We know her well. Come on. We know her well, this Mary. Yes, and this is the Mary from whom Jesus drove 7 demons. When I picture Mary, when I see her in my sort of imagination, I see this Mohican hairstyle, pre-Jesus. I see her with tattoos. I see a tough girl, in a tough world. I mean, if you've had 7 demons driven out of you, what kind of life did you lead? And this Mary, I wonder about her coming that morning. What's she anticipating in the other ladies? What are they anticipating? Mummification or decomposition? Why have they brought spices? Why have they brought spices? They've brought spices not for mummification. They've brought spices to anticipate the stench of death. They're anticipating decomposition. We've started, on Friday night, we've had a night. Remember, this body of Jesus is broken open. Remember, he's had a spear pierced in his side. This is not a body that's it's a body that is broken. It would have, flesh and blood. And so they're anticipating decomposition. So spices were brought to subdue the possible stench of death beginning. So, friends, confidence, your confidence and my confidence about who we are, what our lives are doing and going, has a lot to do with expectations, doesn't it? What are you expecting about your future? And these women came, and they were anticipating death. They thought about the end of a beautiful friendship with Jesus. They knew him for 3 years. He touched people, healed people. He was somebody amazingly different. And they thought, it's done. It's over. That's what they were anticipating. How do you think Peter was feeling on this morning at this stage? Peter at this stage, how do you think he was feeling at this stage? His denials. Jesus, if everyone deserts you, not me, baby. No, I am the rock. Remember that defining moment. On you, Peter, I will build my church. You're the rock. Yeah, I will never deny you. Imagine what he's feeling. When Jesus has looked at him and the rooster has crowed. I wonder what he's feeling like on this morning. So this was kind of anticipating the death of a beautiful friendship, of a life, amazingly lived. Maybe they're saying to themselves, maybe he just was a good moral teacher. I mean, he said that he would be raised to life, but really? Because they're not anticipating at all. They're anticipating death. So what diminishes your confidence in life? I remember at high school when I didn't make the A team anymore. I'm a B team player now. Is that what you think of me? Ooh, and then maybe even the seating. What about your friendship groups? What about your expectations of marriage and life and children and family? Confidence in who we are and where we're going and whether even Christianity is even real is all about expectations, isn't it? Some of you have been praying for things for a long, long time and you're wondering, God, are you even there? Are you hearing my heart's cry for my lost son, my lost daughter? Are you hearing my broken heart of divorce and brokenness? Because I didn't sign up for that. My expectations weren't that. But this is my reality. And this morning, friends, these women and the men who aren't even there are anticipating death and the end of all that is good. I'd like to suggest to you as the next picture goes up that, well, let me ask my young friends again. What does this look like? My primary school friends. Yes, sir. I beg your pardon? A wagtail's footprints. Could well be. What do you think? Derek? Not? What do you think it is? Hey? I don't actually know, eh? I took the picture. I thought you guys were able to help me. But it does depict life as a journey, doesn't it? A journey. We've got starting points and some little creatures going along the sand, and it's got a little destination. Life is a journey, but it's often a difficult journey, isn't it? Sometimes we're in the group that likes us. Sometimes we have friends. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes you've got to pay your taxes and they're going up. charge of him. And they are pedantic. And the water is not hot enough for the dishes. And when you've washed the cups, the teacups must face this way. And so he's got another person who's also in charge, and the one person is saying one thing, saying that's the temperature of the water, and the other is saying, no. And so one lady said to him, this is it. I can see you need some domestication. So he's in paradise. He's arrived in paradise, but he's got this. So after a week, shame, and I could sense it in him. He's quite a confident guy. He's saying to me, Dad, my confidence is at its lowest. I can do nothing right. Who could say amen to that, friends? Is that your story? Did you grow up in a home like that? Are you working at a place like that? And the reality of life, friends, our children need to be built up in their confidence, don't they? They need to find something they can do, and we need to praise them for that. Let me ask you again, friends, what do you think Peter was feeling like on the Sunday morning? Where do you think his confidence was? I think his expectations were shot. I think the reality of who he was and what he's done was at its lowest. He was facing the biggest obstacle of his life. Who will roll the stone away? He is risen. And then this lovely text comes to us, but go tell his disciples, and don't you love it? And Peter. And what you need to do this morning is to put your name in there. Because Mark is doing something quite profound and quite special. He's making note of Peter, whose life is at its lowest ebb. And you see, the last thing about confidence, friends, is what you and I will do with our failures. You've got unmet expectations. You've got obstacles that are in front of you. You've got prayers that haven't been answered. And you've got failure. And I've got failure. And I wonder, Peter feeling like an absolute failure on Resurrection Sunday. Am I going to see Jesus again? Is my last thing that I've done for him said, I don't know this man. I've disowned him. Is there a future for me? Is there a life? Is anything good in my future going to happen? Imagine. And then Mark makes this little distinction, and he says, he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him, just as he told you. You see, friends, the resurrection defines Christianity. And the amazing thing about this Mark's gospel is we know it's this action-packed gospel. Mark doesn't have any little genealogies or little Jesus baby stories. And he has this crazy ending in the original. He's got this crazy ending where everyone is fearful. And then it seems like, the church, the early church was fine with that, but then a little later on they said, we can't have a gospel that ends in fear. So they kind of got a summary of the others, of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and, of Matthew, Luke, and John. And if you read the add-on piece, it's a summary of the three, and they put it in there. But I'm quite comfortable without the happy ending. I don't know about you. Because life often doesn't have a happy ending. Nor does it have sometimes a cuddly birth and a happy home. And I think Mark is inviting us. You see, we need the other gospels. Just like if you've been hurt and disappointed with a church or life, you've most likely isolated yourself. And Mark tells us we need the other gospels. We need people. And so we're invited in to discover the good news. And it's not Mark's gospel that tells us the good news about Peter's story. It's John, isn't it? And John's story tells us that Peter goes fishing again, and Jesus comes to the shore. This is the resurrected Jesus, friends. Friends, have you really met the resurrected Jesus? You see, often we live at the cross, We confess our sin, but then we forget that there's a new life in Christ and a whole new way of living and a whole new way of serving and being reinstated. And Peter, with his expectations shot, his failures before him, he's in that boat, friends, and he hears a voice on the shore saying, "Have you got any fish?" And could this be that he's alive? Could it be that that tomb hasn't got the last say? And so, they jump out that boat and they're going to the shore. And could it be that this is him? Could it be, friends? Could it be that there's a resurrected Messiah who is deeply interested in your life and mine? And you might be saying, "God, do you really love me? Do you really care about me?" At your lowest ebb, your biggest obstacle, your expectations shattered, your failures before you, the cricket team of Australia, waar gaan ons nou? And in that moment is when Jesus begins to speak and asks the question, "How's it going?" And then he has us around that little beach bride, that lovely scene. Can you imagine Peter? Can you imagine him, friends? Everything is before him. The last thing he's done is said, "I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in that stuff anymore." That's the last thing he's done. And suddenly, there's all this love around the fire. And Jesus is just asking him, not, "Why did you let me down? Why did you run away?" Just simply, "Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me?" So friends, today is all about God's love for you and I. And if you're sitting on the fringe of Christianity, then I wonder today if you would consider God's love for you. This final text from Romans 13, verse 12. This is this new confidence we have in the new resurrection. Paul writes, "The night is about over. The dawn is about to break. Be up and awake to what God is doing." As you hear today with the possibility of a difficult life, disappointment,